There's a whole world of amazing games out there made by super talented fans. These folks spend countless hours creating incredible new experiences just for the love of the game. From total overhauls of classic games to brand new takes on classic series, there's really something for everyone. So in this video, I'm going to point out a few that I think need a few more sets of eyes on them. And as always, I'm not going to be linking to any of these directly for obvious reasons, so if you decide to check out any of these, just be extra cautious and careful about what links you're clicking on. Alright, let's just get right to them. Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch is a crazy awesome fan project that turns Mega Man into a fast-paced, chaotic, classic-style first-person shooter. So imagine blasting enemies with the Mega Buster, Ice Slasher, and Firestorm, but it's all in this 3D style arena. It translates the 8-bit NES Mega Man style vibe into 3D really well, shockingly. While the focus is mostly on the multiplayer experience here, I found the single player mode to be still more than enough for me. In the single player, you're going to be fighting your way through different time periods of the classic Mega Man timeline, facing off against tons of different robot masters in bot-filled deathmatch style games where each chapter ends with its own distinct boss, as well as tons of other cool inclusions for hardcore Mega Man fans. Like for me, I appreciated the inclusion of Time Man and Oil Man from my favorite Mega Man game, Powered Up. It's like this what-if scenario where if Dr. Wily threw Unreal Tournament. It's really neat. So if you're a fan of Mega Man or classic arena-style shooters, this is definitely a must-play. The Legend of Zelda Dungeons of Infinity is a roguelike take on A Link to the Past. So it's a Zelda game where every run is a brand new adventure filled with random traps, monsters, and treasures. The goal is to fight your way through 12 different floors, each one having different and more dangerous threats than the last. Each time you play, the layout changes, the enemies are new and different, and the loot is unpredictable. You can open a chest and find a new sword, or you could just get a curse that screws you over for the rest of your run. It's all in the luck of the draw. You'll need to be smart with your resources and your inventory space because if you get killed, it's back to square one. Overall, it's a love letter to the series, but with this roguelike twist, and I think any Zelda fan would be impressed by this. So I recently watched all of Ben Saint's amazing 13-hour-long Bionicle lecture, so that put me in the mood for Bionicle, and then I found Takua 64. It's a total conversion that takes Mario 64 and turns it into a Bionicle game. It's like a time machine back to the early 2000s where you get to explore the iconic island of Motunui. You play as Takua the Matoran, who's on a journey to collect all of the Toa stones that he will use to summon the legendary Toa to the island of Motunui. The game's got everything a Bionicle fan could want. Different biomes, era-appropriate Rockshi littering the island, and tons of secrets and details that are just there for the hardcore fans. All that said, while everything looks awesome and plays really smoothly, it can still be pretty tricky. As someone who's no Mario 64 expert, some of the platforming sections here are really tough, and there are no checkpoints, so if you're high up and fall down, it can get pretty frustrating, so, maybe lean on some safe states or something. But overall, if you're a Bionicle fan and love Mario 64, you should definitely look into this. It's a huge labor of love and brings a classic franchise to life in a new way, and it would make any Bionicle fan happy. Doom Infinite is a super cool fan-made game that, just like Dungeons of Infinity, takes a classic game, Doom in this case, and transforms it into a roguelike. It's currently in demo form, but it's still really impressive and I can't wait to see what this turns into in its full release. You start each run with a random weapon and a power-up, but as you blast your way through the hordes of demons, you'll come across new weapons and abilities. It's got a great mix of old-school Doom action and modern roguelike design elements. It's fast-paced, just like Doom always was, and really challenging. If you're a fan of Doom or roguelikes, you should definitely check this one out. And I think that there's enough juice here that maybe id Software itself should look into considering doing something similar in an official capacity, maybe. This is just a great idea. Super Mario 3 Mix is a love letter to the entire Mario franchise. It's a popular fan project that takes Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES into a new, ambitious, nostalgia-filled game. Just like Mario normally, you're going to be going through different worlds, but in this case, the different worlds you're traveling through are inspired by different Mario games, like Mario 1, Mario 2, 3, World, and even Sunshine. You even get to choose who you play as between Mario, Luigi, and even my boy Toad. It's got tons of new power-ups, enemies, and secrets. You can glide through the skies with the bunny ears, throw ice with the penguin suit, and even toss boomerangs. If you're looking for a fun, challenging, and nostalgic 2D Mario game, Super Mario 3 Mix is definitely worth checking out. Hyper Metroid is an ambitious Super Metroid conversion that reimagines it as a more open-ended map. The story setup here, though, is admittedly a bit too try-hard edgy for my taste, but it's set in an alternate universe where the space pirates kill Samus's husband and her soon-to-be-born child. So it's a little bit too dark and weird. But once you get past that, the game itself, though, is really great. The world is massive and full of secrets with tons of hidden paths and power-ups to discover. It's much more hands-off about where you need to go and how you need to get there, making it feel a lot more exploratory. The enemies are tougher and the atmosphere is even more unsettling. So if you're a fan of Super Metroid and want a good challenge, Hyper Metroid is definitely for you. Pokemon fighting games have been tried in the past, whether it's been Pokken Tournament or their inclusion in Smash Bros. It's always felt like there's something not quite right. So here we have Pokemon Close Combat. It tries things a little bit differently, and it's really neat. It basically takes an old school Street Fighter style 2D fighting game and gives you a plethora of different fighting type Pokemon to fight as. So basically this is like Pokemon battles between trainers, but you're just controlling the Pokemon directly. Each one has their own unique moves and fighting styles, so there's actually a lot of technical depth to this. But for me, as a fighting game scrub, I just really like the details here. I mean, look at these awesome stage backgrounds and hand-drawn sprites. I really love the sketchy look that everything has. You can play solo, where you're fighting your way through this loose arcade mode, or fight online or in local multiplayer battles. This is one that is currently still being worked on, so it's not 100% complete, but I think this is already a really fun time if you're a fan of Pokemon and fighting games. Star Fox 64 Survival is a game that sounds like something that it isn't. It takes The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and turns it into a Star Fox themed survival game. You play as Fox McCloud, crash-landed on a mysterious planet, and you've got to survive for 30 days. And that's a pretty cool concept, but since the game is combat focused, the Ocarina of Time combat might not be everyone's cup of tea, but regardless, you'll need to fight off monsters, scavenge for resources, and manage your health and supplies to make it through. So if you are a fan of Zelda's combat and like cool little experimental fan projects, this is definitely worth checking out. Alright, and thank you guys for watching. That was my third fan projects video. I really like doing these videos. They seem to be well received, and I really appreciate the great feedback. If you have other fan projects and stuff that you would like me to cover in the future, make sure you leave a comment about it. I actually found pretty much every game in this video from comments on other videos I've done, so I really appreciate it. But yeah, if you like this video, do all the YouTube-y stuff. I really appreciate that. Anyway, thank you for watching.